You're watching CoinDesk. This next interview is one of the highlights from Consensus 2025.
All right. So we're thrilled to have Brandon Lutnick with us here today. For those of you who don't know, in February, Brandon was appointed chairman of Cantor Fitzgerald and a member of the board of directors for BGC Group, a leading global brokerage and financial technology company listed on NASDAQ. And he also serves as the chairman and CEO for Cantor Fitzgerald SPACs. And as I understand it, it's also Brandon's first time speaking at a conference in his capacity as such. So we're really, really thrilled to have you here with us today. I mean, you're already making headlines. Just last month, for those of you who haven't been aware, they announced that there was a SPAC under Cantor that Brandon's leading that announced a business combination with 21, a Bitcoin native company which is backed by Tether and SoftBank. So we've got a lot to go through. And so we'd like to start with the first question. I mean, a lot's changed for you over the last couple of months. So tell me, how's it going?
I'm having the most fun ever. It's definitely been an absolutely wild ride. But it's actually funny. So Bernie Cantor started the firm in 1945 when he was 29 years old. My father then took over the firm when he was 29 years old, and I'm 27. So if you told me I'd somehow beat both of them, I would have laughed at you. But I'm having the most fun. It's super exciting. I'm incredibly grateful and fortunate. And we have an incredible executive leadership team at Cantor. So not all the weight falls on my shoulders.
No, that's awesome. So, I mean, you're at a crypto blockchain conference. You know, the one thing I'd say is not everyone's particularly that familiar with Cantor. So could you just help the audience to get to know a little bit more? What is Cantor? What is Cantor Fitzgerald? Yeah.
Of course. I would think most of you guys know Cantor Fitzgerald as the firm that was deeply affected on September 11, 2001. The firm was located on the 101st to 105th floor of the World Trade Center. We lost 658 employees that day, including my Uncle Gary, my godfather Doug. And my dad was actually alive today because he was dropping my brother and me off at our first day of school. Wow. But he rebuilt the firm, took care of all the families in the process, and rebuilt it to what it is today. And the way I view it is the largest private partnership on Wall Street. I divide it into three groups. So the first one is BGC, which is publicly traded. It's the largest wholesale exchange in the world. Second one is Newmark, also publicly traded. It's a leading real estate commercial brokerage firm, mostly in the US. And the last one, most relevant here, is Cantor, which is a leading premier global investment bank, and also one of 25 primary dealers. And again, I think, you know, the beauty of Cantor is that it's private. So we get to commit to industries we love, stick to them for a long time, and we get to skate to where the puck is going. I mean, I think the SPAC space is a really good microcosm of what we want to do with crypto. We were the number one player in the SPAC space for 15 years. Before the boom, we were still a top player during the boom, and post-boom, we're still the number one player again. So we skate to where the puck is going, and yeah, we launched into the crypto space 5 years ago. Crypto's like dog years, so pretty much that's like 40 years at this point. And it's been a lot of fun.
No, that's really cool. And I mean, I'm personally curious, and I'm sure a lot of people here as well. Tell us a bit more about your crypto journey. Like, have you always been interested in the space, and what got you, I guess, interested to start with?
So if you read Bloomberg actually reported that I was a Tether intern. That's not true, but I did learn a lot about crypto from the Tether guys. They orange pilled me, is what I would say. I don't think they orange pilled me enough. I'm still sitting here in a suit, but they definitely orange pilled me. And I think they've been a core partner of Cantor for a long time. But I think, again, just because you put the letters DE in front of DeFi, D in front of finance, doesn't really change the topic. And at Cantor, we really value ourselves as core respected players in the finance space. And when you think of us, I think we want to bring credibility to the space. Again, 80-year institution, and we just want to be a big player in the space. And I think crypto really fits Cantor as a whole because we're private and a primary dealer. So how we can play in the space is incredibly unique.
Yeah, no, it's quite interesting because, I've done quite a lot of stuff with various different banks, and I'd say in general, like if you speak to the average person about TradFi and, as a TradFi institution, most people would say that TradFi is just kind of dipping their toes in it. But, I've personally learned that, Cantor is really kind of an exception in the sense that you guys are doing more stuff in this space. So can you tell me a little bit more about the journey? Like, where did it start and like, help us understand a little bit more the story of Cantor going into the crypto space.
No, definitely. So in July 2020, the OCC stated that banks would be able to custody crypto assets, or assets of crypto companies, excuse me. And we realized that we knew nothing about the space. So we decided to go out and meet everyone we possibly could, and that included the good, the great, and the bad. And in meeting all those companies, we ended up in front of Tether. And at that point, there were a lot of rumors and speculation about the firm, that didn't have the assets that they said they did. But when we met Tether, realized what a truly special company they were, and the real world value they could bring. So we said, open up your books, and we did 2 years of gruesome diligence. I personally checked a lot of their reserves, and we proved all those, those rumors wrong. Again, Cantor is a primary dealer, and all those assets sit at Cantor.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And I mean, just for people in the audience to know a little bit more, can you tell us a bit more about how Cantor is setting itself apart in this space? Like you've kind of mentioned that it sets itself apart from the track record, but also how are you thinking about it now in terms of staying ahead?
I think the beauty of Cantor is that when we're committed to something, we're committed to something. I think if, God forbid, Bitcoin tanked tomorrow 50%, a lot of our competitors and a lot of, the classic TradFi Wall Street guys would run away. That's definitely not what we're going to do. We say we're committed, we're committed. In 21, we hired our first crypto bankers. In 22, we hired our first research analysts, and we're the only real Wall Street institution that has pure dedicated research analysts. And we also host conferences every year. Our first conference actually was the week FTX went down. So that was incredibly well timed. But our value prop is that we're really committed to the space. And more than just as a TradFi, Wall Street institution, we're really trying to grow and get smarter. And I think you can really see that with our Bitcoin lending project. So again, trying to bring credibility to the space. We're launching a $2 billion Bitcoin lending product to start with Anchorage and Copper as our custodians. And that project, along with so many other more we plan to launch, like 21 Capital that you touched on, are super exciting.
Yeah, no. So on 21 Capital, so Cantor recently made headlines around 21 Capital's announcement that it entered into a definitive agreement for a business combination with One Cantor Equity Partners, Inc. So one of the SPACs that you lead. Can you tell us a bit more about how it all came together?
It's actually something I'm super proud of. I think Cantor is really built on the fact that we have incredible relationships, and we turn those relationships into really beautiful projects. And I think when you look at us, 21 Capital is a Bitcoin native treasury company. We launched with almost $4 billion, backed by Tether, the world's largest stablecoin, and SoftBank, I consider one of the great tech investors of all time. So to bring two partners together into an initiative like a Bitcoin treasury project through a Cantor SPAC is definitely something I'm super, super excited about it, and really incredibly proud of the whole Cantor team.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. And how will 21 Capital set itself apart from other publicly listed companies or financial instruments that offer exposure to Bitcoin?
So I think one of the best things about Cantor is that it's led by Jack Mallers, who I'm a huge, huge fan of. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's incredibly pro-Bitcoin, incredibly smart, and he's leading it. So when you look at blue chip investors, an incredibly smart, sophisticated leader in Jack Mallers, and then the fact that we're launching the third largest Bitcoin treasury company already at its launch, I think are super exciting. And then we have two Bitcoin KPIs that I think are really special. Bitcoin per share and Bitcoin return rate, almost like printing money. But if you look at 21 Capital, the goal is to increase your Bitcoin per share. So like as an ETF, you buy some ETF, it gets flat. The goal of Jack, of 21 Capital, is to increase your Bitcoin per share, which I think is a super interesting, exciting initiative.
Yeah, no, that definitely is quite interesting. So, final question I have for you. So crypto adoption, I kind of noted earlier today, started off as a fairly grassroots, bottoms-up movement, a lot of peer-to-peer, expert-led type of adoption. But in recent years, we've seen that kind of top-down tailwind of regulatory clarity as well as government support accelerating adoption. And I see this kind of particularly converging in the US. So with that being said, I'd love to get your perspective. Like, what are some of the real-world issues that you see in your kind of unique position that digital assets and crypto can solve?
I think when you look around the world, there are billions of people that are unbanked and hundreds of millions that aren't as lucky as we are and face heavy inflation year over year. So the two things I'm super excited about from crypto, from 30,000 foot view, is one, remittances, and two, the fight against BRICS in terms of dollar hegemony, currency around the world. I think if you think about remittances, it's an initiative where people want to send money home, and right now it's incredibly hard to, and people are getting ripped off by fees. Think about sending $100 home to your parents, only 70 gets there.
Yeah.
So I think the way crypto works, it's honestly active today, is you can send money quicker, more efficiently, and with less fees. And I think remittances will become a global initiative in terms of Bitcoin, stablecoins, you name it. And then I think if you think about dollar hegemony, the fight's going on right now. I mean, you have BRICS countries pushing their currency around the world. Obviously I'm American, so I want to spread the dollar around. And I think stablecoins, do an incredible job of dollar hegemony and also allowing retail around the world to get access to the dollar. And that, for the US government, increases their wanting of debt, increases of, I think stablecoins would allow access to trillions and trillions and trillions of US debt demand, which the US desperately needs. So I think stablecoins and Bitcoin should do a great job in those two initiatives.
Gotcha. Well, Brandon, I really enjoyed having you on stage with here.
Thank you for having me.
So glad that you're able to join us. And if you can just join me with a warm welcome or warm thank you for Brandon for joining us on stage. It's great.